Motorcycle Adventure Dirt Bike TV, supported proudly by Adventure Spec in the UK, Rally Raid Products, Giant Loop in the United States, Adventure Moto in Australia, Pirelli Tyres, Motul Oils, RK Chains and Australian Adventure Bike Magazine.
This is Nugget's first bike review, and as you'd expect, Nugget will approach it in his own creative, original way. So let's get creative and original. The footage from 2016 is taken from our Himalayan Motorcycle Adventure full-length film that's been viewed over 1.4 million times. Click on the top right of the screen to watch this cracking adventure. It may surprise you to know that Nugget was one of the first Australians to ride the Himalayan Enfield in the Himalayas when they were first released in India in 2016. And he was probably one of the first Australians to ride it to the world's highest motorable pass, Khardungla, at 18,380 feet. Now, at the time of its release, the bike had a carburettor, and carburation at extreme altitude is problematic, as the jetting of the bike has to be altered to deal with lower oxygen levels and lower air pressure. Even when the carburettor is retuned, it is still a challenge. But don't take my word for it, here's Nugget starting his carburetted bike at a place called Pung at 15,000 feet early in the morning at 4 degrees Celsius.
Come on, little Enfield. You're made for the Himalayas.
At the time, it seemed strange to us that a bike called the Himalayan had difficulty running in the Himalayas. In fact, our Indian friends had a joke about it, that the bike should only go to the foothills of the Himalayas and no further. But carburation aside, Nugget was very happy with the bike in terms of its handling, suspension and rider comfort and carrying capacity, even if it was a little down on power. He felt it made for a solid platform for motorcycle adventure. It's fair to say our motorcycle adventure into the Himalayas was one of the most memorable experiences we have had on motorcycles. And the Royal Enfield Himalayan was Nugget's chariot that took him on this great adventure, reliably, practically, even if a little slowly up some of those steeper hills. Our other riding mate, Nosh, wasn't so impressed with the electrics of his Himalayan, as the rectifier failed early in the ride and we had to push start him all over India. But he too was impressed with the rider comfort and handling of the bike. So, fast forward to 2022, and as you'd expect, the bike has continued to evolve and improve and has come a long way since that first release in 2016. Most notably is the change of carburation to electronic fuel injection. There have been some improvements in build quality and reliability, but apart from some cosmetic changes, the fundamentals of the bike haven't changed much since 2016. So, time for Nugget to return to the Royal Enfield Himalayan, this time on a 2022 model. He doesn't have much time to ride it, but enough to rekindle his memories of our trip and what was good about this bike.
I can hear a Himalayan. Nagwa's on a Himalayan. Here he comes. There he is. I can see him. Nagwa! He comes out of the blackness. Mate.
Wow. Dave, I actually really like it. I've actually got a soft spot for it. I've actually got a soft spot after riding across the Himalayas on it. I really like it. Yeah. And this one's more refined. It's the like the limited edition. Yeah, no, it's got some great features, I reckon. What's this little clock thing here. What's this?
That's
It looks like a 747.
yeah.
Look at it.
Yeah, I know.
And it was flashing, and it was. I think though, I reckon that can get too fancy. Like, you don't need to be fancy with a Royal Enfield. That's what they're known for, especially being a Himalayan. I actually really like it. Look at the low seat height. I can touch both feet.
Look at that. Nagwa's touching.
I can touch both feet. Comfortable.
So, I just wind ourselves back. Let's go back to our Himalaya motorcycle adventure. And you took this over the world's highest motorable pass, Kardungla.
Yep.
And at that stage, they were carburetted version.
Yeah, yeah.
And so obviously, I mean,
it struggled because of the jetting, but then we got the jetting fixed, and it went great. Where this one being injected, you don't have that trouble.
No.
You could go to great heights and great lows.
Yeah. Yeah.
I actually, look, would you race Dakar on it? Probably not, But if you said Nugget, we're riding across Australia tomorrow, I'd be happy to ride this.
It's a comfortable seated position, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
And the good thing is, they're cheap, entry level. You just get on and ride it.
Yeah.
You don't need any fancy pants stuff on it.
No.
Like, you buy one of these KTMs, BMW, whatever, and then you spend another $5,000 on bling. You don't need it on this.
Yeah.
You don't. Not even suspension. I hit a couple of potholes and that just soaked them up. You do not need to spend 1 cent on it. It's a bit like if you've got, how'd you put it? You've got an average looking missus at home, and you go spend 10 grand on a Chanel bag, fancy perfume, and a Giovanni dress. At the end of the day, it's not going to turn her into a supermodel.
No.
She's still going to be your average loyal wife, and that's the best way to have her. And that's like this, just an average bike, man. It does it all.
So like, you've had a lot of time on these in the Himalayas, which not many Aussies have, or the first one. How was the suspension on it in the Himalayas?
It was fine. Yeah, I actually, and it was carrying some weight. We had all our
Yeah.
packs on it. We were gone for weeks and weeks on end, and it was carrying everything, mate. I didn't have a problem. And the front end was a bit soft, but this one feels a lot better.
Yeah.
But
Because this is 3 or 4 years now in terms of the model. The model's improved.
yeah, they've actually come up. This here, I wasn't getting any wind on me at all.
No, it's
That
very
looked
good,
thin.
isn't it?
Yeah, it's retro shaped to go around you for some reason.
Yeah.
Even my big ears.
Yeah.
But no, mate, I'm pleasantly surprised.
No, that's good.
And the back, look at this.
Hang on.
Are these standard?
I don't think so. I think, you kind of get them. Yeah. You got
Look
some.
at the size of them.
Well,
Oh, what we got
what's
in
in
here?
there? Monk's in there.
A line. He's a bit
Line.
dirty. I haven't washed him from his last trip. And Choker.
Yeah, choker chicken's in
And
there
mate,
as well.
look, he's awake, so he obviously liked the trip on it. He reckons it's comfortable. We'll just put him back in there.
Huh?
They're a fair size. Look at all this room to put stuff on.
Yeah, mate.
Bed.
I've got to say, there's a picture of you just out of Pung, which is, I think, 16,000 feet, something like that. You got a bit of wooden board that you found on the side of the road, and it had "good" written on it. And you were sitting on this, and that's what it is, isn't it? It's good. You know what you're buying.
Mate, value for money. Value for money, that's what I reckon. You don't need to spend any money on it. It's better than good. I actually like it. I like this low seat height. It's great for us vertically challenged people. Pygmies, dwarfs, whatever you want to call us. I've been called everything. But yeah, mate, I'd ride it. Definitely.
No, it's an interesting bike, isn't it? Great, as you say, entry level. It it does all the things it needs to do. Isn't the engine? It's funny. It sounds like a cross between a tractor and a diesel. I don't know what it sounds
It's got
like.
a bit of a bit like a tuk tuk. But look, it's not going to tear your arms off like it wouldn't.
Wouldn't even tear your fingers off, mate.
I don't think it'd pull the skin off rice pudding.
No.
But what are you after? Are you racing it or are you touring it? And if you're touring it, it's fine. Just sat well in Sydney traffic, took off. It was first off at the lights, and I was off and racing. So it's.
I was sitting down here doing 90 to 100 k's on the flat, and it did that all right. I'd imagine if you start climbing it, it'd probably need a bit of gear changing, but yeah. So, mate, it kind of gets the thumbs up, doesn't it, in terms of entry level, nothing to do, gets you into the sport.
Oh, definitely. And easy dirt road rider. Easy dirt road rider. You can take it many places.
And I think, you know, some of those Enfield fanatics like them too. You know, it's just something about them, isn't it?
Well, mate, there's a billion of the buggers. They can't be wrong over there. So they made that many. They've got to have finalised it, got it down pat by now.
Yeah.
And, like, yeah, that's... I don't mind it. I wouldn't spend any money on it. If I bought it, I wouldn't bling it up. I wouldn't do the suspension. I'd ride this to India tomorrow from Australia.
Yeah, you could. You could easily. All right, mate. Well, that's good. Nuggets. This is your kind of first review.
I know. I feel like I own it. What do they say? Like a diamond with a flaw is better than a pebble without.
Nuggets, Enfield, Himalaya, mini review.
It's not Himalaya. It's Himalayan. No, Himalayan.
Himalayan.
There's
Don't we have some problems?
Don't get started with this.
Oh my God, It's a Himalaya.
Yeah.
It's not.
It's Himalayan.
Talk to the Indians. Himalayan.
That's where we get it from.
Yeah.
Ashish called it Himalayan, so I'll call it Himalayan.
Himalayan.
And he's as Indian as they come.
Yeah. All right, Nugget. Well, let's go in and get something to eat, eh?
Yeah, mate. We're in.
All right. Better take the key out. Do you think anyone would steal it, though? I think they would.
Yeah, say that.
Okay, I'll just say. Mate, I suppose we better take the key out. Do you think someone would steal it?
They're a well sought after bike, I'd say.
Yeah,
Maybe.
all right. Okay. Let's take the key out then.
Definitely.
We're at a pub?
Yeah, smash and grabs.
Yeah, smash and grab. All right.
Does it have a steering lock, Dave? Or?
I don't know.
Let's have a look. It's got the word lock, but...
Oh, well. Maybe we need a bit of practice
There
with
it
that.
is. Done.
God, it's got a steering lock and everything.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Well done, Nugget.
I never got to use the horn, though.
It doesn't work. I tried. It doesn't work.
Honk, honk. I'll have to just squeeze choker.
Yeah, need a choker.
Let's go get a meal.
Okay.
We're aboard the 2022 model Enfield Himalayan, and this brings back a lot of memories for me. A couple of years ago, Nugget and Nosh and Ashish Rayrani and myself and Stefan Ruhl from Germany, we headed off from Delhi into the Himalayas, and arguably one of the best motorcycle adventures that I've had, and I have such great memories. And Nugget and Nosh were on Himalayan Enfields, and at that stage these bikes had just hit the market, and there were some reliability problems, and you know, I don't want to rub Enfield's nose in it, but this is our first experience with the Himalayan. But things have moved on, and the bike has continued to attract a following, and one of the reasons for that is it's such a comfortable, useful, cheap as chips bike that makes adventure accessible to all. And nothing could highlight that more than our trip to India and into the Himalayas. I mean, sometimes we were riding at 16,000 feet, and we actually took on the highest motorable pass in the world, and Nugget was riding his Himalayan. So these bikes can do the tough stuff. I love the sound of the bike. It's reassuring. Does it have enormous power? No, it doesn't. Probably comes in around a similar amount of power that's developed by the CRF 300. Is that a big deal? No, it's not. You can cruise at highway speeds, provided you're willing to drop it down a gear when you get to a hill. But yeah, it does sit on, around 90 k's to 100 k's if you get on the flats, but don't expect too much off it going up a hill. let's just focus on the comfort of the bike. The seating position is very comfortable, and I just feel at home on it. Both your feet are absolutely flat on the ground when you stop, such as in traffic now. And the foot peg to seat height is quite low, so your knees feel like they're up a bit. And I'd imagine taller riders might find that a little bit scrunchy. But the actual reach from the seat to the handlebars is very comfortable in it, and it keeps you in a very good stance, a good seated stance while you're riding. In terms of comfort, this screen is excellent. It does the job at any speed. It's surprising, you know, there's some more expensive bikes that just can't get screens to work without, you know, causing vibration in helmets. But this screen, for me, with my helmet, doesn't create any problems at any speed. The lights, that was interesting the other night I was riding. I think it's more of adjustment than anything. The lights aren't anything to write home about. High beam for this bike was pointing into the trees, but then again, you know, I think that's got more to do with adjustment than anything. Instrumentation is clear. I actually like the look of it. I think it's pretty funky and retro. I like the compass. I know it's got a navigation aid. It really didn't need that, and yeah, but anyway, you know, there's got to be some techniques that infiltrates into bikes these days. Front brake on this bike is not a one-fingered job. It's not a two-fingered job. For me, it's a three-fingered job, at least, if not a whole handful. Yeah, it does get there. It will stop the bike, but yeah, it took me a little bit of adjustment after some of the bikes I've ridden lately. Yeah, it really needs a decent yank on the front brake to slow the bike down. Back brake's fine, don't have a problem with that. Both the brake lever and the gear lever are made out of mild steel, so if you run into something and bend them, you can easily bend them back without a great problem. So they're reasonably flexible. The gear action is good. You know, you just got to be careful. Just make sure you put in the clutch correctly. Clutch feel, yeah, it's a little bit heavy, but hey, it's all right. I think the thing that you got to pinch yourself with this bike is its price. You know, the on-road price is just ridiculously cheap, and you know, for bang for your buck in terms of motorcycle enjoyment, it actually is a good value proposition. Is the suspension going to take you over jumps at speed? No, it's not. But as we've seen in the Himalayas, and that's where we've taken this bike, you know, it just handled everything we threw at it. I think of all the riding I've done in the last couple of years, and this bike could go everywhere on those adventures. It's just it does it a little bit slower. So there's a lot of you looking at this bike and the CRF 300 and maybe the KTM 390 as your first adventure bike, or your next adventure bike, or the adventure bike to be. And I think, you know, in that range you've got, you know, some difficult decisions to make. They're all very keenly priced, and they all have something to offer. The KTM 390, yeah, it's a very keen competitor. Obviously it looks slick. The key thing for me with that bike is that it offers wonderful traction control and safety settings for those new to adventure. But its standing position, ostensibly it's a road bike that's been adventurized, and so when you stand in the standing position, it's not quite there. But its suspension and handling are good. The CRF 300, without any doubt, you're gonna have to spend money on suspension to get that to where you want it to be for most riders. Not all riders. If you're very light, you'll get away with it. But remember, you still got to have gear on it. The Himalayan, you ride that out of the showroom floor, and you know it doesn't have complex traction control systems. You know what you're getting. It's a little bit retro looking, certainly has a style to it. And it does the job. It's a very difficult decision in that small capacity market, and as Clubby's said in recent adventure news, the Gas might be bringing out a 490 that would also be in competition to this bike.